Hi everyone, my name's Diabutor, and today I'm going to show you 5 early secrets that you might have missed in Elden Ring. These secret locations have strong weapons and items that can help you a lot in your Elden Ring journey, and the earlier you get them, the more valuable they are. So I'm going to walk you through where to find them and how to get the most out of them. If you find this helpful, please leave a like, share the video, and consider subscribing. It really helps me out. To find our first secret area, we're going to head over to the Third Church of Marika in East Limgrave. From the Gatefront ruins, follow the road to the east and then make a left so you go north, and that road will take you straight up to the Third Church of Marika. At the Third Church, behind it there's a pond, and inside that pond is a teleporter, which is going to take us to where we need to go. So find the teleporter, interact with it, and hit yes. This will take you to the Bestial Sanctum and Grail's Dragon Barrow. The Dragon Barrow is a pretty high-level area in northern Caelid, so be careful around here because the enemies will probably one-shot you, but fortunately we don't need to fight anything over here. When you first get here, the doors will be shut, but they're not locked, so you can just open it up and walk right in. I just already had them open on this save. There's a site of grace inside, so make sure you grab that, because you're going to want to come back here, especially if you end up dying from this fall that we're going to do. After that, you're going to go out the door, make a right, and head to the west over to the cliff side. Look over the cliff and head a little bit to the north and you'll find this route that you can drop down onto. So, be careful. The whole thing here is slow and steady wins the race, and, watch your step. It's like, you see this guy, he didn't watch his step. But anyway, so yeah, we're just jumping down towards these stone structures down here, so nice and easy. Remember that you can catch yourself with a double jump if you miss where you're landing. So the double jump won't save you from fall damage, but, if you miscalculate and you come slightly short of the platform you're trying to drop to, then you can double jump to correct your course and make sure you land on it. So anyway, we're heading all the way down to the bottom level of this thing. There's some bats on the rafters or whatever these things are called here, so be careful not to get attacked by them. But once you get down to the third level of it, just head to the north part of it, and you'll find this item on the ground here. That's the Cinquedea. This is a dagger that scales with strength. It's really strong, and it has the special effect of boosting the damage that you do with the bestial incantations that you get from Gurranq in the Bestial Sanctum. And while we're down here, we're also going to head around to the east, where there's another item on the ground, being guarded by a bat or two, so be careful of them. But that's the Dragoncrest Shield Talisman. This talisman is super helpful throughout the early game because it increases your physical damage resistance by 10% while you have it equipped, and so that can do quite a lot for you, especially against bosses and stuff that do mostly physical damage. So I mentioned that the dagger we picked up, the Cinquedea, increases all damage that you do with bestial incantations while you have it equipped. So let's go get some bestial incantations. So first you're going to need some Death Root. The one that I grabbed here, I got from the Summon Water Village, which is located in Limgrave just north of the Third Church of Marika, as you can see. You can bring the Death Root to Gurranq in the Bestial Sanctum. He wants to eat the Death Root. So when you feed him Death Roots, he'll give you stuff in return. The first one rewards you with the Clawmark seal, which has an effect similar to the Cinquedea. It increases the damage that you do with bestial incantations, but further Death Roots you give him will result in you getting more incantations and weapons and stuff. And these bestial incantations are not only badass as hell, but they can also do a lot of damage, especially if you combine the Cinquedea and the Clawmark seal. Here you see, using just the seal, my Stone of Gurranq did 264 damage to that guy. Now using the seal and the dagger, it does 291. So it's a pretty significant damage buff when you use both of them. Speaking of damage buffs, the Cinquedea is a somber weapon, so we can easily upgrade it to +4 if we head up to Iji in northwest Liurnia, because he sells somber stones 1, 2, 3, and 4. So talk to him, go to purchase. He sells infinite somber stones 1 and 2, and he sells 3 each of 3 and 4. It'll cost you 15,000 runes to buy 1 of each, and you can use those to bring the Cinquedea up to +4. In my case, I brought it up to +10 because I could. I'm on New Game +2, so the enemies have more health. The seal, unfortunately, is upgraded with regular smithing stones, so that one's a bit harder to upgrade. But the dagger is the main thing that we're here for, and it does a whole bunch of damage. Both of these weapons scale with strength, so they're really good for casting the bestial incantations on a strength build, and as you can see, the dagger is fast as shit and does a ton of damage, so it's great. The next secret location we're going to check out is a bit more mundane, but it's still really easy to miss. I missed this for my first 2 playthroughs, and when I found out about it later on, I was really mad because the items here could have been really helpful. Anyway, so from the Gatefront Ruins, we're going to head down to the lake and follow the ravine north, and we're going to go to Murkwater Cave. So head down the hill toward the lake, and then make a left, head north up through the ravine, so you're going to go under this big bridge with the skeletons. And once you get to the middle of the ravine, you'll find the cave, but you're also going to get kicked off of Torrent because you're being invaded by Bloodyfinger Nereus. While the invasion is active, you're not going to be able to enter the cave. So you're either going to have to kill this dude, or you can run back under the bridge, and that should make him despawn, and then you can go into the cave without fighting him. In my case, I decided just to kill him. He's not all that hard, and you'll have an NPC help you out. Yura spawns in after a couple seconds once you hit Nereus the first time, so he shouldn't be too hard to kill. But either way, head into the cave. This cave is really small and there's not much to grab here. Like, there's a chest with some mushrooms in that left doorway over there. Oh my god, how exciting. But if you go around the right side here, you'll come into this boss room. But mysteriously, there's not going to be a boss. However, there is a chest, so, you know, do your thing and go check it out. And oh my god, it was a trick. So Patches is going to drop down from the cliff above you, and he's going to attack you. If you kill him, that's okay, but it's not preferable because he has a quest line. So what you're going to do is get him to half health, and that'll make him surrender, and then you're going to have to give him a couple seconds to actually surrender. So I nearly two-shotted him there, but fortunately he ended up not dying, so let him surrender. Then afterwards, once he finishes talking about how you're a person of reason, you can talk to him, and he'll tell you, oh, I'm going to open up a shop, come back later. So fast travel back to the site of grace, and then come back around to Patches, and now when you talk to him, he'll have a shop where you can buy some stuff from him. He sells a bunch of items which have varying ranges of usefulness, but what we're here for are the gold pickled foul feet, which are consumable items that increase the amount of runes you get from killing enemies for 3 minutes when you eat one. And there's also Margit's Shackle, which you can use against Margit and 1 or 2 other bosses, and this is an item that's going to make killing Margit super easy, so I strongly recommend grabbing this. It costs 5,000 runes, but it's worth it. And he also sells a crafting book with the recipe for gold pickled foul feet and a couple other useless things. But the gold pickled foul feet are super useful. They're slightly tedious to craft, but getting them early on makes it really easy to get a lot of runes so that you can level up faster. So here I'm going to demonstrate Margit's Shackle against who else but Margit. So it's an item that you equip in one of your quick slots, and then you can use it on Margit. It'll lock him to the ground for like 3 or 4 seconds, and that's lets you get some hits in on him. It only works twice, and only on his first phase. So you're going to see here when I go to use it again, because he's now in his second phase, it's not going to work. He starts his second phase at half health, that's when he pulls out the hammer. The Shackle itself is infinite use, so if you die, then you can just try again, but again, it only works twice during his first phase. Also, there's the gold pickled foul feet. So these are craftable items, like I said. When you consume one, which you can do from your inventory via your click slots, it'll increase the amount of runes that you get for 3 minutes. So without the foul foot, that dude dropped 423 runes, and now when I kill him with the foul foot, he's going to drop 549. So it's a 30% increase for 3 minutes, and that also works on bosses and stuff, so it's super helpful to get. So in order to craft them, you need the crafting kit, which you can buy from Kale at the Church of Ella if you don't have it already. You need a Roro fruit, which you can find all over the place. Here's one at the Gatefront Ruins, but really, you probably don't even need to farm this stuff because you'll find plenty of it while you're exploring. You're also going to need 4-toed foul feet. Now these are a bit trickier to get. They're dropped by a certain kind of bird, and there's a good farming spot for them, but in order to make it easier, I like to head over to the Seaside Ruins, which you can see here in Limgrave. So, next to this enormous archway where you find Yura, there's a site of grace for the Seaside Ruins, and then if you go a bit to the south of it, if you look down at the beach, you'll see that Spirit Spring. It took me a minute to find it there, but, you know, it's there. When you jump down into the Spirit Spring, you won't take fall damage as long as you land in or close enough to it. So, you know, just use your double jump or whatever and make sure you land right next to it, and you'll be fine. So when you jump down to the beach, you'll find this Alabaster Lord. If you kill him, he will drop an Ash of War that we're going to use to kill the birds that drop the 4-toed foul feed. This guy can be pretty annoying, but he has pretty long punish windows, so just be patient and attack him. And eventually, when he dies, grab the item off of his body, and that is the Ash of War Gravitas, which we're going to use to kill the birds. So once you have the Gravitas Ash of War, we're going to head over to the impassable Great Bridge found in South Caelid. So you can get to Caelid pretty easily, just follow the road east out of Limgrave, and if you follow that shit to the south, you'll come to this like triangle intersection thing here, and that's where the map of Caelid is, and then from there you can just head down the road, and that takes you to the impassable Great Bridge Site of Grace. Make sure you equip Gravitas on a weapon so that you can actually use it. It's compatible with most weapons, and it can't be like a dagger, but pretty much anything else can use it. Doesn't matter what affinity you choose, because these birds die in one hit from anything. Get close enough to them that you don't scare them off and make them fly away, and then you can use Gravitas to just insta-kill all three of them, and they can drop Four-Toed Foul Feet and Flight Pinions. So this is where you go to farm Four-Toed Foul Feet. It has, I think, like a 30% drop rate or something like that, so you should expect about 1 or 2 every time you kill the birds, but it shouldn't take too long to farm. And then the last item we need, the Gold Fireflies, is by far the most tedious of them all. My preferred spot to farm these is down in the Weeping Peninsula by the Tombsword Site of Grace. You can get to Weeping Peninsula by following the road south through Limgrave, and then you just head over to the west side of the peninsula, and that'll take you over to this area. You're going to want to find the Tombsword Site of Grace. It can be a little tricky to find, but it shouldn't be too hard because it has the golden stuff, grace stuff coming off of it, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find. And then what we're going to do is head over to that pond that I just marked on the map. So this is a bit of a run. It's like a 45-second run. There's a slightly better spot to get these from, but it's over in the Mistwood outskirts, and it's surrounded by giant rune bears, and I hate dealing with them. So instead, I come over here to this pond that just has 11 of these things in it. 1 or 2 runs will set you up for quite a while, because you only need 1 Firefly per Foulfoot. And then, now that we've gathered all the stuff for it, we can craft these bad boys, and you can use them to get a ton of runes. You can use it before or during a boss fight, and when you kill the boss, that'll increase the amount of runes that it drops, but you can also use it while exploring and killing regular enemies too, and that'll give you a lot more runes as you go along. Depending on how you define a secret, this next one might be a secret within a secret. So for this one, we're going to head to the east side of Limgrave to the Mistwood. Follow the road to the east and you'll find the Mistwood outskirts Site of Grace, and from there you're going to go directly east towards the giant minor Erd tree. Right next to it, if you look on your map, you'll see there's this circular building. That's called the Siofra River Well. It's an elevator that's going to take us down to the Siofra River. So here's the well. So there should be an elevator here. In my case, at some point in the save, I had taken the elevator down and never sent it back up, so I had to pull the lever, and this elevator is like 1 minute and 20 seconds long, so I had to sit and wait for a little bit. So make sure you send it back up if you ever want to use it after you go down there the first time. And then I had to take it all the way back down, so that was cool. Anyway, so once you get down to the bottom of the well, you'll see these ruins and all this cool stuff, and you're going to head through the ruins to the north towards the Siofra River bank. Just keep following the stream, and you'll come to this Site of Grace over here called Siofra River Bank. So the Siofra River itself is that first, like, sort of secret that I mentioned earlier. You know, it's up to you whether or not you define it as secret. Also, by the way, you're not going to have the map when you get here, but this pillar has this corpse next to it right here, and that is where you pick up the map. So make sure you grab that so you can actually see what the hell you're doing. Anyway, so now we're going to head to the secret, and that's over here at the Worshipper's Wood Site of Grace. So you'll see these enormous aqueducts above you, and you can see they're clearly marked on your map. And just to the south of one, you'll see that there's this pillar thing with like a circle at the top of it. We're going to the top of the circle, so you can mark that with a waypoint, and you'll be able to see it. And then it's just a short run over to it. Be careful not to get murdered by those blue lightning balls there, because they're strong as hell. You're going to jump on top of this collapsed pillar, don't get owned by the archer. And then up here, there's a teleporter, and when you take this teleporter, it brings us up to a higher level of the Siofra River. Now there's a talisman, there's a weapon, there's a spell, and there's a bunch of gloveworts up here, and so that makes this area really cool and really good to go to early on. So you can see we're above the rest of the Siofra River. So first of all, on your left, you'll see there's this big building here, and if you come through the doorway, you'll see in the corner back there, there's a blue scarab. I didn't go and kill it, but it drops a spell when you kill it, and that spell's alright. It's not amazing, but it is a neat spell to have. Then if you go all the way to the west end of the area, there's a Ghost Glovewort 5, and that's one of the earliest ones that you can get. So if you have a Spirit Ashes like the Mimic Tier or something, that's a good way to get the Gloveworts to upgrade it. There's also at least one Ghost Glovewort 4 up here too. And then of course, if you go over by the waterfall, there's this Dragonkin soldier that you can kill, and he drops one of the best weapons in the game when you kill him. So I'm on New Game Plus 2, which is why he has so much health. If you have a +4 Sombra weapon, like we got from EG earlier in the first part of this, then he shouldn't be that tough, because he only has like 6,000 health or something. Just go for the legs and be patient, and know that like this attack here, where he does that drag afterwards, a lot of his attacks have follow-ups, so you want to try to get behind him. Or like this one, you have to run away from it, because it makes like a kind of explosion thing that would hit you if you stay close to him. But just go for the legs, be patient, try to stay behind him, make sure you have a decent upgraded weapon and a good amount of vigor, and he shouldn't be too hard to kill, and he drops the Dragon Halberd, which is one of the best weapons in the game. So this is a strength scaling weapon. It's a little heavy, but as a halberd, it's really strong, does decent poise damage. It has the thrusting halberd moveset, so you can do these pokes that get pierce damage and are great for like roll catching enemies in PvP and stuff. And the Ash of War spinning slash has this unique lightning effect on it. So after you cast it, it buffs the halberd with lightning, and so you can see it has added lightning damage. It adds 160 lightning damage, and since it's ice lightning, it also does frostbite buildup. So that's only when it's buffed, so you want to try to keep it buffed at all times during boss fights and stuff, but it's strong as fuck. And also, nearby, underneath the waterfall, is Marika's Scar Seal. This isn't a talisman you want to have on at all times, but if there's like a spell or something you need to cast that requires a bit of extra intelligence or faith or something, then that's really nice to have, to be able to swap to it, cast it, and then switch it over to something else. This next location has a weapon that is capable of doing some of the highest possible DPS in the game, and also has a talisman that is super useful for your entire playthrough. So we're going back to Caelid for this one. You can follow the road east from Limgrave to get here, and then once you get to the Caelem Ruins, right after where you get the Guts Greatsword, you're going to head east to this canyon, and you're going to follow it south. So if you have the map of the region, you can see like the end of the canyon there. It can be a bit of a bitch to spot, but it's not super hard to find this once you get there. So from the Site of Grace, just head directly to the east until you get to the canyon, and then follow it south. So you'll pass by this first tree, and this is the one that always confuses me. That wasn't the correct tree. There's a second tree over here that we're going to, which is this one that you see on the right. Down here, there's an Abductor Virgin, so be careful of that. But you're going to drop down to its level, and if you go towards the canyon, you'll see this route that you can go across that'll take you to the other side of the cliff face, and right here, there is a secret cave. So this is called the Abandoned Cave. This cave has a lot of the Scarlet Rot muck that slows you down and inflicts Scarlet Rot on you, so you're really going to want the Flame Cleanse Me spell so that you can cure yourself of the rot once you get it, because Scarlet Rot is lethal as hell. So you can get Flame Cleanse Me over by the Eastern Tableland in Liurnia of the Lakes. So if you go over to the Academy Gate Town, and this is just north of the Last Great Ruins of course, to the northeast of the Gate Town, there's a path that takes you up onto the dry area by the highway, and if you follow that north, it'll take you to the Eastern Tableland, and then right next to that, there's a Fire Monk camp where you can grab the Flame Cleanse Me spell. Flame Cleanse Me requires 12 faith to cast, so any character except for the prisoner can cast it if you're wearing the Two Fingers Heirloom. The Two Fingers Heirloom gives you +5 faith, so you need to have at least 7 faith in order to be able to cast the spell if you're wearing that talisman. So you can get the talisman at the Purified Ruins, seen here to the east of the Lascar Ruins. There's a cellar there, and inside the cellar is a chest that has the talisman. If you're the prisoner, then you'll have 6 faith to start with, so you just need to level up faith once, and then you can equip the talisman, and that lets you cast the spell. So I'm in New Game Plus, so you can see I was walking around at normal speed in this muck, but if you're not in New Game Plus, then it'll make you walk really slow through it, so you're going to build up the Scarlet Rot. So as soon as you get out of that muck, make sure you cast Flame Cleanse Me and get rid of that, because it does a ton of damage. It also helps a lot if you have a light source here, such as a lantern or a torch. Not far into the cave is the first item we're going to grab, which is the Serpent Bow, which is a nice weapon to have, and I'll talk about that a bit more later on. After that, once you get to this chamber that has all the flowers in it, if you go to your left side, you'll see this pile of destroyed Abductor Virgins that you can climb up. And up here is the Venomous Fang. This is the weapon I was talking about that is capable of some of the highest DPS in the game, and I'll put a build down in the description if you want to try to use it. It's insane how much damage that thing can do. And also, of course, we're going to go kill the boss here, because the boss drops a very, very powerful talisman that is really nice to have. So this boss is a Clean Rot Knight duo, but the second one takes a few seconds to like wake up before it fights you. So if you kill the first one fast, then you only have to fight them one at a time. They're really weak to fire, so you know, if you have something like fire pots or fire spells or whatever, that'll be really effective against them. They shouldn't be too hard to kill. That scythe one always annoys the shit out of me, but they're not too bad. And of course, when you beat them, you get the Gold Scarab Talisman. So this is not unlike the Gold Pickled Foulfoots that we picked up earlier, in that it increases the amount of runes you get when you kill an enemy. So the Talisman isn't quite as strong as the Foul Feet. The Foul Feet give you a 30% increase to runes you get. The Talisman only gives you 20%, but it does stack with the Foul Feet, and of course, since it's not a consumable, you have it forever. You just have to equip it, and you get the runes from it. So that's really cool. It gives you like a total of 60% increase when you stack the two. Also, there's the Venomous Fang, so this thing does poison buildup, and it's claws, so make sure you two-hand it for full effect. That's the one-handed moveset. You want to two-hand it so you attack with two claws at once. You don't need to find a second Venomous Fang, you can just two-hand it because it's a paired weapon. But anyway, so the Venomous Fang does deadly poison buildup. It's not just regular poison buildup. Deadly poison does more damage than regular poison, but it lasts for a shorter period of time. But also, this thing can accept Ashes of War, and that can add extra status effects to it, such as Frostbite, Bleed, or even just increasing how much poison it does. So that's strong as hell, and like I said, there will be a build for this thing down in the description. And also, we grabbed the Serpent Bow. Now this one's not quite as great as the other two items. It does add poison buildup to your arrows and stuff. It doesn't say it in the passive effects on the stats page, but it does add 15 poison buildup to any arrows that you shoot. So it doesn't matter if they're poison arrows, regular arrows, fire arrows, whatever. That's 15 poison buildup to all arrows that you shoot. If you get poison arrows, or even better, if you go to the isolated merchant shack in the Dragon Barrow, where here you can see where it is on the map on the screen, you can buy an infinite supply of serpent arrows from that guy, and those serpent arrows do 78 poison buildup per arrow, plus the 15 from this thing equals you're doing 93 poison buildup. And so the way I prefer to use it is to use that high poison buildup to shoot like 3 or 4 arrows at a boss to poison them, and then switch over to a different weapon to actually fight them. For the last item that we're going to grab today, we're heading back over to EG in northwest Liurnia at the King's Realm Ruins. So in case you haven't been to them already, if you head up through Liurnia, you'll get to the Academy Gate Town right in the middle of the lake, and then to the north of that, there's this gazebo, and on that gazebo, there's a teleporter that'll take you all the way up over here to northwest Liurnia. And so you'll be right at the map of the area, so make sure you grab that, and then all you gotta do is head north, and that'll take you to EG at the Road to the Manor site of Grace. And so the item that we're going to grab is inside the King's Realm Ruins in the hidden cellar that's blocked by an illusory wall. So on the map, I marked the approximate location of where it is. You can see over here, it's on the eastern side of the ruins, and there's this noble sorcerer that's just kind of staring at the floor there. That floor is the illusory wall that we need to break. So you can hit it, but here's something you might not know about. Margit's Shackle will dispel illusory walls around you. So, you know, it does it in a pretty wide range too, so that's useful for finding secrets. So in the cellar, there's a boss, and it's a Royal Revenant, and these are just the most wonderful and fun enemies in the game, and I love fighting them. They're definitely not flawed at all. Yeah. But if you want to make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can go to the Round Table Hold and talk to Corin, and he will sell you the Heal spell. So you don't want to get Urgent Heal, which is the one that affects you, yourself. You want to get Heal, which has an area of effect around you. Heal requires 12 faith to cast, so if you have the 2 fingers heirloom, then you only need 7 faith. And then once you get that, you can go inside the boss room and just immediately hit him with a heal. And since the Revenant is cursed or something, that will instantly take off 50% of its health. Doesn't matter what healing spell you cast. It's always an instant 50%, even if it's the weakest healing spell. And it also instantly poise breaks it, though it still might be able to teleport away from you. But once it's dead, head into the room, and you can grab the Frozen Needle out of the chest, which is a unique thrusting sword that does frostbite buildup and has a really cool effect. Frozen Needle is a somber dex scaling weapon. It requires 18 dexterity to cast and can be upgraded with somber smithing stones. And as you can see, its heavy attacks shoot out the blade as like an icicle projectile. And so I haven't upgraded it in this clip, which is why it's doing abysmal damage. It doesn't do amazing damage, but it's cool as hell, and it's nice to have that little ranged option for pestering enemies and doing frostbite buildup. And so that concludes today's guide. I hope you find these items useful or helpful. A lot of them are really fun to use, like the Frozen Needle. I don't think Frozen Needle is like an amazing weapon by any stretch, but it is really cool to just blast shit with the icicle spear thing. It's a pretty cool thing, I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, try those different things out, have fun with them. And most importantly of all, make sure you keep exploring Elden Ring, because this game is huge and there are tons and tons of stuff to find. I have nearly 2,000 hours in this game, and I still find new stuff every time I start running around and exploring the map. Let me know about any cool stuff you find down in the comments, because I'm always happy to learn more about this amazing game. If you found this video interesting or helpful, please leave a like, share the video, and consider subscribing. My name is Diabetor, and I will catch you later.